They don't all go right. I've just turned this one over and I'm painting the other side. I'm doing a sort of a Dartmoory type of moorland scene. Just wet the paper. It's Fabriano, £130, and the crinkles now are from the other side, from the wet on that. So that'll do. I've dropped my box easel to as low as it would go, and I've angled the board at 45 degrees, and I've had to adjust my tripod to suit, and my camera is way up there. So I'm using lemon yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, paint grey, and burnt sienna. I sprayed the paints initially with a bit of water just to soften them up, get them moving, and I'm uploading a video of Freddie playing with Elsa in the garden. He's just about recovered from the trauma of his operation on Monday on his nether regions, and he's off bundling with Elsa in the garden, and they go over several gardens chasing each other back to and fro, bundling and having a jolly good time. Right, I'll just put in some raw sienna. Nice bit of colour this. I'll put a bit of alizarin in there, I think. I'm not sure where this is going to go. Put a bit of blue in there, I think. It's a bit of blue with alizarin. And just try and get a bit of gentleness in this. Just re-tip it. Okay, so I'll put in a gentle bit of cloud. I use a bit of alizarin with the ultramarine, but I want it quite light. I want this all to dry nice and gentle. Just nice, just little clouds going into the distance. And we just put a little bit of darker shadow, cloud shadow on, yeah, can I show you? See what happens there. And underneath that I'll put a bit of burnt sienna, clean burnt sienna I think. Use a lot of rag that will take off the excess moisture, so let's just drag that across there. Hope we don't get too many cauliflowers there. Right, okay. So we can put in some bit of landscape, bit of greeny blue landscape. Just to show some hills. I've got a few tubes of paint on order, which I'm buying from the Doll's House. I got it online. I've bought from them before, and they were cheaper than anybody else. These tubes of paint, they're 21mm cotton, a lot of paint in there, for less than £3 a tube, which was pretty good. Let's just keep plenty of light in this. Right, got some yellow, nice broad yellow field. To put in the fields, I'm making this up as I go along. I've got nothing in mind. I'm just doodling, just trying to make a lot of distant fields here. Very faint, going quite high up to the hilly tops of these tors, and I want it all to sort of vanish into the nether. Okay, let's just re-clip it. It's got a little bit muddy in the middle there, but it's not the colour of mud, it's just a lot of murkiness there. But we can disguise all that. So we want some trees, but not great big trees. This is a moor, and moors are bleak, and everything is sort of still stunted. Let's just put something in here. Just burnt sienna, lemon yellow, just thick paint. Look, it's because it's wet. We used to use it straight out of the tube, which is good. It's the best way, but it's very wasteful because when it dries, you're back to where you started. Right, just nice and warm, dark. I'm putting my path going through the middle. So all I can say, this is just going to be a moorland scene. You put a bit of red in there, warm it up a little bit. Got some nice dark shadowy greens in here. So I'm mixing red, light red, in with that, and we're getting something happening there. I have a card handy just for, well, don't want to lift too much of this out. I don't want it to be like a overdone thing, because a little goes a long way. Just a few suggestions, and then we can blue that up, but further on. Remember that if you want the paint to show and not bleed into the background, the wet background, you need thick paint. So this is a cooler colour, so we're working on a bit of aerial perspective here, but as well as linear perspective, which means things get smaller as they go away from you. Aerial perspective is where you use colour to give the impression of distance. The blue colours recede, the warm colours, the reds and the browns, the siennas and the burnt umbers, the yellows, they come forward. But you can have a lot of fun doing this. It's I love this sort of painting, making it up as I go along. This way you're not a slave to photographs. So something's happening there. So plenty of dark blue in there. The thing with the hake is you can't always see where all the hairs are, what they're doing, because though there's my brush, it's split into various factions, and sometimes you can't see there's a clump underneath that starts to do nasty things, so we just get that going up to over the slope here. Okay. I want to get that there, a little bit straighter there. But I don't want any hard lines really. And let's do something here. I will just warm things up as we come close. Water. Got to have some water. See, I'm coming closer. So I'm just putting some nice warm darks. Right, okay, so we can do some dry brush over that when it goes a bit flat. So let's just put in some bit of shadow here. And here we want this to carry on here. I think the end of this hake, the bristles are getting a bit uneven now. The head of the across the tip is getting much thinner than it was when it was new. I might take some wool out of, scrape some wool out of this. Going over the hill there. little card, and I'll just lift out some wall. So this is just to show that these are hedge rows. Okay, so there's a bit of foreground coming on. I need to do some background now. I know that's drying off a little bit, but there's going to be a bluey green. So I want to preserve the integrity of this foreground. The paper's a bit lumpy there, but I'll just dry this off. Hold on to your ears. Starting up now. The thing is, this all dries lighter than when you put it on. So, a bit of yellow, a bit of blue, and we'll just reinstate some of these. Just showing the fields with just soft lines, but just getting fainter and fainter as we go. This is not working very well because the wet paper from the other side on the failure is stopping it all from registering. But anyway, that's sort of happening. So all the moors are covered with small fields. It's too hilly to get great big fields going, and they're very rocky as well. So that'll do that. So we've got to put some points of interest in this now. So we haven't got a lot of scope other than a bit of dry brush on this landscape here. So let's get a bit of burnt umber in there. So let's just right. So that's our footpath. And then nice warm colours. Now that's because there's a lump there. but I reckon we could probably put another rather hedgerow there, blue on the blue side. So let's I need some bit of heavier stuff in here, really. Just to throw that background a bit further back. Okay. Right. Okay, so now we haven't got a lot of detail. We've got very great distance here. I don't know if it shows up on the camera. I can't really see, the camera's way above my head. But I'm going to dry off and put in some figures now, and probably some sheep or something, I don't know, with some bit of gouache. Right, just dry that off. Take your headphones off. I haven't gone mad with the rocks because I wanted the colours to show the recession and the detail. So we'll put in some little figures just on the way down the hill. They're just sort of walking down the hill, minding their own business. Where's my gouache? I've got some of this large palette here, large butcher's tray. Oh, I keep meaning to buy some white. The white that I'm using out of the tube is so dry it hardly comes out. So now with sheep you've got to put them where they'll actually show. I'll just see if I can squeeze some. Look, it's so solid I can hardly press the tube. But I want some almost neat paint. If you mix it with too much water, it dilutes it too much. So just a few. Good place to put sheep would be against the background. I can put some little black dots on there for their faces. I think they show really, but I might even put a building, but I don't think they'll show. Well, I know they're there, you might not. The figures give a bit of scale, as do the sheep. The figures might be just a little bit weak. I could make them a bit bigger than that, I suppose. But no, I'll leave it. They're only just figures in a landscape, really. They're nothing more than that. Let's put in some red roofs. White. I'll just put in some. No, it's not really showing. No, I can't do any more to that. I don't think it's. I had something else in mind before I did this. Let's sign it and. And then we'll put in a few birds. Right. Right, got little blobs there, so we'll bird over the blobs. So that is that. It really says what I wanted it to say. I was going to do something else that wasn't entirely wet in wet, but this paper is really only, I found it's only suitable for wet in wet. It's just a bit too light, but that might just be the way I'm using it. Right, let's have a look at it in a mount. I think the sky is quite nice and gentle, rather than the usual drama of everything competing with everything else. So it's a moorland scene. It's a little bit on the weak side. Let's zoom. Let's come round and zoom in. That's better. Right. Oops. So bear with me. Right. I'll just do the old zoom, and now we'll go round it. So let's go from there. Just look at the interesting bit. So I think I've managed to create quite a lot of distance in it. Let's come down a little bit even more. Let's try to get the picture square, but without a zoom, it's sometimes great difficulty. Let's just go up even higher if I can. I can't. Yes, I can. YouTube would ask if I want the video improved, but since I've done most of it, well, there we are. It's a view of of the West Country moors. Is the best I can say for it. West Country moors, moors in the West Country, something like that. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.